and harmony. Welcome to Cartesian Judiciary TV. This is the holistic principle of all peace brought to you on this YouTube channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this moment. Once we lived threatened faith. Today, a calm and discouraged motivation. We meet in the clouds of a sorrowful salvation. My name is Elsie Rickinson. I am a lawyer and an analyst from the CLTT. The correlations of tacit testimony. We have opened a declaration file that is based on one of the most heavy ongoing crimes that have killed morals and good progress in our planet for the last maybe 38 years. And that is the anti-progress open secret. I don't know, but this is the only way we can call it. Please forgive me if this is not the best way to explain it. But this anti-progress open secret is an evil plot or theorem formed by criminals, as usual. These kind of things are mostly formed by crime committers. It is an evil plot and system that was formed by a massive criminal compound using a triangular format that I can call a riot muzzle the puzzle. This riot muzzle the puzzle was designed to cover the truth on the integral essential of Sir Michael Jackson. This anti-progress open secret or anti-progress theorem was established in order to protect the actual master criminal that was in charge of most of the attacks, barriers, and threats and destructions that were laid upon Sir Michael Jackson. Basically, this anti-progress open secret was designed to conceal the secrets behind all these nasty rumors about Sir Michael Jackson. Now, however, while this may be our declaration, but I will still be open for anybody's opinion from any part of the world. Please, please, I am asking. Please be free to agree or disagree. Please be free to comment. And we will try hard enough to handle all problems with complete consent and application to the freedom of speech. Please note that the correlation of tacit testimony, as its name says, it is the voice of the vulnerable. It is the crying voice in the defense of life and equality. We are a law institute that is based on solving all major problems in order to find peace, equality, and a great level of coordinated global vitality. Our focus is on coming together and solving each and every problem that avoids and destroys us from reaching peaceful liberty and fellowship across our planet. Our goal is to find harmony and accordance for each and every one of us living on planet Earth. Please, please, help us out. Our point is not on punishing anyone, and we do not want or need any kind of conflict. Our word is simply calling for peace. We are calling for a lawful solution in all settlements and official decisions. We are asking everyone to please try hard enough to question your understanding before you take action or make an opinion. It is very disappointing to see the fact that we human beings are still in the struggle of fighting each other instead of fighting the devil. It is hurting to see that parents are still teaching unto their children the aspects of segregation building and not the vowels of harmony. The heaven has given us science, technology, art, and all the other civilizations. Practicing education together and improving our world could be way more fun than all these malicious arguments that we spend our time on. I am honestly not a fan of arguments and rumors. I am not a fan of useless tasks. I do not support the concept of insufficient fantasies such as smoking, drinking alcohol, or living sick and spending your day causing trouble. I believe that our modern films and music have become sinful and insulting due to their heavy sexual culture. I basically do not support this modern fashion of people that spend their time celebrating sex, then one moment claim that they are devout believers are followers of God. I really think that is wrong. I basically really hate hypocrites. I really hate hypocrites. But while this is, I support liberty and freedom. I do support peace and love. Therefore, I cannot just randomly attack or bomb the people that practice this popular sexual culture just because I hate it and believe it's wrong. Why can't I do that? Because I believe in peace and human rights. A society where we respect each other, putting our disagreements aside, and placing obedience, peace, and modesty in the center before any of our multiple cultures. We have many disagreements and cultures on earth, but as million or billion as that is, let us practice peace and love. Let us share one culture alongside the different others. Let us share the culture of saving life, protecting our planet, and respecting our nature. Now, before I proceed, I will state that in the process of investigating this criminal compound, I realized that most people that tried to oppose the main mob plus the directors of this criminal compound were killed. People that tried to speak the actual truth were killed or injured. This massive mob is still reeling as we speak. I know that they can come to kill me. I know that they can start plotting a large plan of threatening the entire CLTT. I know that they can try to buy my collaborators to turn against the CLTT. I know that they can try to buy my friends. I do not have the power to be greater than a knife or a bullet. But I am asking all of us, may we please make peace on this and on all the other ongoing wars in our planet. What I have is the prayer of sorrow, the tears of worry, and the need and want to go to heaven. I honestly pray that the Creator may lead me in all actions, so that I may walk a path that is loyal unto the natural destiny of life. I may not work to only protecting myself away from death, but I must work more in saving nature, saving peace, which this is saving life of all of us together in harmony, all of us together in love, all of us together in liberty, right here on planet Earth. That is the natural destiny of life. May peace be with all of us across the world. May the heavens lead us to reconciliation. In love and care, in the name of God, we may proceed. When it comes to Sir Michael Jackson, many people argue on whether he was guilty or innocent. But today, before we can say anything on that, we are first coming to take a look at who is Sir Michael Jackson. Behind all these rumors, we must look at this neutrally and objectively. So today, we take a look at the integral essential of Sir Michael Jackson. Most people, yes, because most people use him as an object for entertainment and argument, or as a reason for insulting, or as a pop figure. But today, we take a look at Sir Michael Jackson as a human being. And in order to do this, we must first solve for X. And in order to do this correctly, I must be pure and central in all research and reading. Like the torch of Einstein's statement, in order to identify and solve a problem, try to relate yourself to the problem, to the facts of the problem. Do not turn the problem into another that you would relate to. Please, in order to find the truth, try to understand the truth. Do not turn the truth to relate to you. Courtesy and justice to everyone all over the world. We need you to know that we really, factually, neutrally, and objectively investigated the vague and mysteries around the stories about Sir Michael Jackson. We have questioned and questioned all the mentioned and mentioned. We have questioned and questioned the tension and the tensions. We have questioned and questioned the many dimensions. And at the end, the answer is that clarity lives itself. In this process, we used law hypothesis, we used mathematical hypothesis, we used scientific hypothesis, and we used technical hypothesis. Our conclusion is a product of all literal readings in accordance with fact and technicality. Our word is a product of conclusions and investigations in respect to our Cartesian Constitution and the inspiration of the Cartesian Constitution, which is the Constitution of the United States of America. I will be honest in all of this. Many, many times, in many, many ways, my doubts always asked me and said, in such a twisted story, could one ever find the truth? And my answer was, yes indeed, as hard as certainty might be, but probability lives in the path of one who is willing to save peace, one who is willing to protect life, one who is truly in search of clarity, one who is willing to pay careful attention to detail with respect and complete pure respect for all nature. Lord, oh heaven, I pray that I may be that person. In every problem that I solve, I may not be ignorant. In every problem, in every opinion that I make or take, before I can even take any step towards opinion, let it be of clarity. Please, nature, please, use me in order to save all the hurt and misused children. Before I judge, before I take any step towards consideration, I must be pure with complete dedication to only heavenly morals, so that I may reach out to saving all victims, not saving the pretend to be victims, but I may reach out to saving the life of humanity. No matter what career, or religion, or gender, or race, or disability that one has, but my responsibility is to look up to heaven and save the true hurt and innocent person in each situation. So, in terms of Sir Michael Jackson, this is a case that is thought of to have been discussed by many people many times, and his defense is thought of as something that is in the hands of his fans and the Jackson family. But in all of these notions, he has hardly been defended correctly. Sir Michael Jackson has hardly been spoken of truthfully. People have not yet judged the case of Sir Michael Jackson correctly in the right way. Yes, what is the right way? The right way is solve for X. Before you judge any person, first ask yourself and research, who is this person? What are his or her terms and conditions? What is this person all about? And in doing this, you must put all the statements said about the person away from what the person said about his or herself. Therefore, you take the statements from the person and put them on one end. Then next, we take the statements from other people and place them on the other end. After doing that, you look at the other people and separate their statements as well. You basically gather the statements of each person to themselves respectively. Then read their actions in comparison to their statements and see if it is just a misunderstanding or there is an actual problem going on. If there is an actual problem, then continue to solve your X until you identify the guilty individual or group. If you do not have the interest in research or law, then please just stay out of the situation. Do not comment, because then you are likely to say wrong statements or encourage bad ideas, which open a huge door for conflict. So when it comes to human beings, honestly, I must investigate with care and respect. I must research and inspect. I must handle every subject cautiously. Basically, I must try hard enough to solve the damage and not to make out of the situation a comedy or to threaten others. I must first fix myself in order to fix the situation. If I truly am a loyal citizen of planet Earth, I must first ask myself, who is Sir Michael Jackson? How does the case of Sir Michael Jackson impact on me and the rest of the world? What is my official position in this matter? What are the rights of the people involved in this matter? That is the right way to look at a case before you can involve yourself in it. That is the first step in solving for X. Now, that is the right way of looking into a case of other human beings. So, in terms of Sir Michael Jackson, I did ask the question many times, who is Sir Michael Jackson? And many people, different people, say different things about him. Different lies and insults. Many say that he is the king of pop. Many say he was a master criminal. Many say he was gay. Many say he was a paradox. Many say he was a master criminal and the king of pop at the same time. Many say he was a king of pop and a great philanthropist. Many say he was the best entertainer of all time. Many say he is the main figure of pop culture. Many say he was a kind-hearted criminal. Many say other more insults and insulting proclamations. In all of this, on the other hand, what did Sir Michael Jackson say about himself? Well, Sir Michael Jackson said he was Peter Pan. He said he was a child of the world. He said he was an instrument of nature. He said he was an icon of a generation that has forgotten what it is to be children. He said that he believes he was chosen to teach the people through his music and the rest of his work. Alongside this, he also said he was imitating the Messiah, Jesus Christ. He said he was living unto the teachings of the gospel of Christ. Matthew chapter 18. Whosoever therefore humbles themselves as a child, that same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. He said that he was living for the children. He said that all the work he does, all the songs he sang, all the poetry he wrote, all the dances he did, are all inspired by the children. He said that he was not God, but he was trying to be godlike, to imitate the act of God, the love of God. He said that he was living to the prophet's plan, swords to plowshares. He said that he was trying to be childlike, not childish. He said that after reading the book about Mother Teresa and all the other saints, he was inspired and felt free as a saint, as one of the saints alongside the others. Basically, at no point did he say or embrace himself as a king of pop or an inspiration of pop culture. Now, I have his statements aside, and on the other hand, I have the statements from other people. If I am really looking for clarity, which statements do I go with? Because I need to know the person before I can judge him. And well, I continue solving for X. And yes, what did I find? On one end, the people say that that's what they love about Michael. He does not care what people say. He just keeps going. On the other hand, Sir Michael Jackson stated that all these lies, accusations, and attacks were hurtful. He stated that growing up under the abuse of Sir Joe Jackson hurt him. He stated that he was hurt and he was a human being. He, Sir Michael Jackson, stated that he was abused, hurt, and traumatized. He said he was done, but the only thing that keeps him going is us, the children. He said he was living for us, the children. He said that he was really hurt, and if he woke up and there were no longer any children left on earth, if there was no child at all, he would choose death. He said that all the work he does is for us, the children. He said that he was inspired by us, and not only that, but Sir Michael Jackson said he saw God in us. He said he saw the face of God in us. He saw purity. So yes, what did I do after finding this? What did I feel as a child? I compared his statements to his actions. I paid attention to the answers he gave to each question, and I paid attention to the context of each statement and each song, each poem, and each film that I have seen, all of his and all of those from other people in comparison. I then compared the individuals and groups in order to see who is the liar between these people. Because what he said about himself sounds really different from what people say about him. I don't know, but to be honest, there is a big difference from these two people. Person A, one, the person that most people describe. Most of the claim to be fans describe a kind-hearted pop star, king of pop, or a pop star criminal. All in all, the sum of their description says he was mainly a king of pop, but alongside that, he had a deep kindness and consciousness. Or he was equally a pop star and a philanthropist. Then maybe 1% of the people say he was mainly a philanthropist, and alongside that, he was a pop star. Whereas person B, the second person, the person that Sir Michael Jackson described of himself. Well, I can say, all in all, the sum of this description says he was a hurt person that was living only to serve the kingdom of heaven, using music and philanthropy. He was a saint. Or he was a missionary, a servant of God, and actually practiced the culture of peace, the gospel of Christ, and the philosophy of all other holy religions. And through peace, such a servant shall try to teach in the threatened opportunity he has. He shall make use of his very discouraged life, and he shall not curse other people. Therefore, he shall greet everyone, even if they are chanting King of Pop. He shall greet in peace and love and go on trying to teach his will, the will of God. Okay, now, when we have person A and person B, the question is, did Sir Michael Jackson act like his words? Did he carry himself in accordance to his description or not? Well, I searched and searched. I investigated and inspected. I watched, read, listened, and prayed. I cried, worried, and doubted. I compared his actions to the actions of the claim to be fans, and in the end, I can say, I believe that Sir Michael Jackson did not betray his words. I believe that he was a missionary. He was an icon of peace and virtuous philosophy. He is not a king of pop, or whatsoever that is. It is not a pop figure. He was, or he is, the whistle of the Holy Way. The whistle of the Holy Way. Like once, when mankind valued humanity and harmony, when fashion was about making Trinity through symphony, with pleasant prayers and ongoing melodies, with many layers of sacred glories. Those were ladies and gentlemen. Those were flowers of ink and pen. And when the water saw the drought of these candles, it brought me Walker, the last gentleman, the gospel scientist, the voice of ferocity, the peace patriot, the architect of the unified religious reflection. That is Sir Michael Jackson. He is the architect of the unified religious reflection. He is the symphony of insight. He is the song of the sacred, and not a king of pop. Now, here stands a question. What did I do after I had seen clarity? What did I feel or learn as a child? How much do children on earth try to protect all the grace that the heaven has given unto them? When are we going to save the truth? The truth is still threatened in lies and insults. As truth had revealed itself, one should see it. As love has lived itself, one should appreciate it. As kindness has shown its courage, one must save it. Here stands a question. As a child, as a young person, what is my official position in this matter? And the answer is that, as it seems that Sir Michael Jackson did not betray his words, as I believe that he was innocent, or at least innocent than most people on earth. As I feel that he was a missionary, and blessed are those who suffer for the sake of peace. Whosoever serves the kingdom of heaven, whosoever lives every second and minute in complete prayer, whosoever gives entirely all his life to the kingdom of heaven is of heaven. Whosoever embraces the word of purity in all actions is the face of God. So now, if the face of God was living for me as a child, as the face of God said that he saw purity in me, as Sir Michael Jackson has said that he sees God in us, the children, and he's given all his existence and his work unto us. What do I do with it? Well, I don't know about the rest of the children on earth. I see most of them are friends of this pop figure made up person of theirs. But for me, I receive the teachings. I receive the blessing. I respect Sir Michael Jackson as one of the faces of God. as one of the great saints. And if this be that nothing proves my faith mistaken, then he is unto me as Saint Moses was to Saint Joshua. He is unto me as Saint Abraham was to Saint Isaac. He is unto me as Saint Jesus was to his disciples. Kingdom of heaven, I pray that I may protect this light that you have given unto me. I receive the light. I appreciate the philosophy and the philosopher. I love the singer and the song. I am thankful for the seeker and the sought. I will be Princess Theopotia. That is what I'll do. I will be Learner the teacher. I will learn from the teachings of Sir Michael Jackson and all the other biblical conducts that he directed us to, such as the will of forgiveness, the gospel of the Messiah, Jesus Christ, the prophet's plan of Saint Isaiah, the 10 Commandments, the heavenly meaning of children, the virtues of unity, and the philosophy of dancing the dream. I will learn from his teachings, and I shall teach them unto others. Yes, I did not have this age and position that time. Yes, devil killed him far too early. But what I do have is the gift of purity that he has given to the world. Not only are his teachings of goodwill, but his teachings are one of the most literal and philosophical, very poetic and polite. I am Princess Theopotia. I am Learner the teacher. I am now here, and I will protect this truth. I will protect what is mine, the teachings of Sir Michael Jackson. These are mine because he gave them to me. He gave them unto all of us, the children. They are mine because I received them as what they are. I love them and him as who he was for what he was. I love him as he was as a servant of God. I do not wish he was a king of pop. I love him as he was as an icon of peace. I do not wish he was an icon of pop. I love him as he was as a whistle of the Holy Way. I do not wish he was a figure of pop culture. So, if I appreciate him for what he was, living for, I therefore have the right to own the light that he gave unto us. Yes, I receive it. I will own it. He gave it to me, so it is mine. And I declare, enough is enough. Stop insulting the kingdom of heaven. I have come in defense of a servant of God. Therefore, I have come in defense of God. So that is how I am involved in this case. Basically, he is my predecessor and I am his apprentice. He is my teacher and I am his student. He was the philosopher and I am the voice of his philosophy. He is the heart that gave us Heal the World, so I shall be the follower of Heal the World. Oh Heaven, please help me to do this correctly. I pray as a human being. I pray as a lawyer. I pray as an analyst. I pray that peace may lead my steps. I pray as a child. I pray as a particle, as a compound of atoms, a compound of particles. I pray that God may breathe in the aspects of all my feelings. I pray that all my work must be for the sake of Trinity, the sake of healing. I pray that my actions may speak my inspiration and witness my words, so that I may not be one of those blaspheming crowds that claim to be inspired by Sir Michael Jackson while not. I may not be one of those who claim to be devout Christians, yet they spend all their days embracing pop culture. Please, please help me to never be a hypocrite. So yes, while my philosopher has passed away many years ago now, but people are still disrespectfully discussing him and many insulting topics. And all of you claim to be fans are still calling him a king of pop. And many documentations are still being made, some directly against him and others pretend to defend him while spreading their pop virus and leaving the truth still threatened and forbid. This leads to a lot of misunderstandings and useless arguments, especially since most people are busy saying incorrect statements on both the attacking and the pretend to defending him side. Therefore, the benefits of the truth are still enslaved. The kingdom of heaven is still being mistranslated. That is why we are having this session today, in order to save life, in order to free truth, in order to wash the world off from these unnecessary arguments that are preventing us from moving on with whatsoever the heavens have for us. So, I had to search who is behind these lies, because this looks like a purpose-drawn puzzle. It could be random, but hardly. As a lawyer, I had to look through this carefully because now there are many scandals in this matter. There is a group. Group 1 is composed of the different people that attack him directly in public. There is Group 2, composed of the people that pretend to defend him in public. Then there is group 3, the people that pretend to be groomed by him or confused. Then there is group 4, the might be actually confused. Then there is group 5, the 0.1% of people that actually love him and defend him. Now, this is a puzzle of many pieces. And just to make it clear, these 5 groups apply to both the celebrity and the rest of the public. Because, true, while the public is misled by the celebrity and other media, but the truth is, they are also misled because they want to, because they choose to believe the celebrity and not because they do not have information in disagreement to all media. No, that is not it. Not because they never want to read or do research. No, that is not it. But this is going on because they care nothing about the heavens and they do not and did not love Sir Michael Jackson. While this may be it is still important to solve for X. Who is the master criminal behind this puzzle? Who really actually groomed the world? Who are the people or mobs in this massive criminal compound? And here again, people say many different things. Others say it is Sir Michael Jackson himself, and others say it is racism from people with blonde skin. The brown people with a brown skin, say white people are trying to get rid of a black man. Others claim it is a combination of different random attacks. Others claim it all started with the media. Others claim it all started with the burn injury. Others claim it all started with the genders. Many claim it is because he was famous, very, very famous. No one should ever be that famous. But in all of this, when you pay careful attention to the words from the victim, Sir Michael Jackson himself, you will realize that most of these reasons are factors of the reason. They are sub-reasons or components of the reason, but none of these frequently spoken reasons are actually the complete reason. None of the frequently accused people is actually the master criminal or the main master criminal, to be specific and clear. Sir Michael Jackson referred us to his music at times. He told the public that they could listen to his music word for word and try to understand his message. In the interview on 60 Minutes between the Case Parade When he could not answer further and explain on what was going on in America. On that interview, he was very sick and hurt. He said there was conspiracy. And that was not the only time he mentioned such a statement. Then, at one point, at the end of the interview, he was asked, what would he like to say, or what does he have to say to his fans in terms of what was going on? And he said that he loves them, and he gave them the song Childhood. He gave the song Childhood to the public. He said that Childhood was the most autobiographical song he had ever written. Now, I don't know if most of these people that claim to be fans have listened to the song and read through its lyrics. But what I can tell you is that that song is not about the Chandlers. It is not about the Avisas. Neither is it about racism. And what I learned about Sir Michael Jackson is the fact that he was truly the forgiver and not a hypocrite. If all the misunderstandings that he had had with Sir Joe Jackson were only beatings and being kept in the studio, or if all of them were finally resolved, he would have not mentioned that song during that period because he would care but that it was going to hurt the reborn peaceful Sir Joe Jackson. He would not give Childhood as his words to the fans during that interview. That is based on the case. That interview was between Misery and the period of great pain. Sir Michael Jackson would not hurt Sir Joe. I know this sounds confusing in some way, but Sir Michael Jackson seemed very cautious, very cautious. So then, why? So why did he mention the song here? Because when you look carefully at it and try to follow its literal meaning, word to word, you will question further and further. You will further search it carefully, doing it innocently. You will find the truth. The sad truth is that the master criminal behind all these lies was Sir Joe Jackson. The Hitler of this anti-progress open secret is Sir Joe Jackson. Mr. Joseph Jackson is or was the criminal. that hated his child from youth till ever. Mr. Joseph Jackson is the man that bought the media and other bad people to paint all these lies in order to cover the truth about Sir Michael Jackson, in order to deny the word of heaven, in order to hide the crime that he, Sir Joe Jackson, had committed in establishing the Jackson 5 and afterwards. I am not saying that there were no other attacks that were not organized by him. No, that is not what I am saying. But what I am saying is that from all literal readings, it seems that Sir Joe Jackson was the person that designed this riot muzzle of puzzle. I know this is the person that was supposed to have been a parent, but the truth is, he did not be that to Sir Michael. No, he did not. I know this is the same person that appeared in court with him, with Sir Michael. But all that appearance was an act of crime, of pretense, of lying. It seems that Sir Joe Jackson did not change or repent even after apologizing. Instead, what he did was threaten Sir Michael to stop trying to speak out. What had happened here is that what seems to have happened, or what might have actually happened, is that, yes, Sir Joe Jackson came from the South, the poor South, as Sir Michael said. He, Sir Joe Jackson, developed his bad tempers and harsh behaviors, self-misconduct, and other cruelty, but he was still sane enough to know and love his wife and his kids. The problem all began when God gave him the peaceful child, Sir Michael Jackson. This child was polite and kind. This child was shy and smart. But what might have been the main problem to Sir Joe Jackson is the fact that Sir Michael Jackson had a fragile physical nature and might have naturally had a natural hypothalamic fragility, one of those known as part of hypothalamic dysfunction. And now, we must be honest in our hearts. Most people, when they see signs or symptoms of odd natures, whether they know the cause or not, but they neglect and hate the child. And that is exactly what went wrong. Sir Joseph Jackson hated the child, but he did realize that the child was very calm and very smart. So as a result of this, he decided that he will capitalize on the smartness of the child, and he would use this child as a money machine. And so, that is what he did. He never loved Sir Michael at all. Never. According to what it seems, he might have really bullied and abused this child specifically amongst the others. So basically, he would beat this child, insult this child, and leave this child carelessly in the Chetwynd circuit and other clubs. He basically only cared about owning this child as a money machine and as his slave. But it did no good for this child. Yes, it is true that he did not want people to look down at his offspring, but that does not mean that he loved this child. In some stupid sense, one could say that is love. That is why he did not approve of the child's physical nature, because he loves all his children and he thinks he does not deserve such a kid. But that is an evil concept all around. There is no such love. That is too stupid. That was hate. Hate that went on and on. This man was now a complete criminal, more than an abusive parent, because his club friends, such as Barry Gordy, knew what he was doing, and they all kept the secrets together. He misused and orphaned the little peaceful heart. Not only did he make the kid miss out on his childhood, but he also never took the kid on what a normal childhood is. So at the end of the plan, he had abused the child physically, sexually, emotionally, and psychologically. He did not know that God had heard the prayer of the little lonely heart. He did not know that this heart of peace will sit and cry to nature with pure tears. The heavens heard the voice of the innocent Sir Michael and rescued him. Through the hands of people such as Miss Diana, Sir Ronald Reagan, Miss Margaret, Miss Jeannie White Kinder, Sir Reinhardt, Sir Emmanuel Lewis, Sir Donald Trump, and other kind people, other actual kind people, such as Miss Elizabeth Taylor and so forth. It was then that he managed to try reaching out for independence away from Sir Joseph and his mobs. This fact got the devil angry, and they attacked and conspired. At this point, Sir Michael was actually not in good health because of what happened. What happened at first is that his natural physical sensitivities might have been the risk factors that led to the vitiligo and lupus. From there on, he caught up with other diseases as a result of the maltreatment and carelessness that came from Sir Joe Jackson. When Sir Joe Jackson realized that the child was planning salvation and peace through the name of God, he then bought the media and other criminals to attack the child and cover the crime. In order to do this well, he designed this riot muzzle of a puzzle, a system by where he, Sir Joe Jackson, and his kids are at first hand of the mob against Sir Michael. Then the riot will be the close friends and close gangsters to them, the Jackson family. And the muzzle will be the rest of the media, and all together they can form a puzzle of some pretending to defend as others attack. But in all this, Sir Michael Jackson was actually getting hurt. So, basically, they would attack him in public with cases, with injuries, and insults, and threats. But behind, when all cameras are gone, they would still hurt him with threats, and hitting, and substance abuse, and rape. Because, basically, Sir Michael lived his entire existence in deep sorrow and actual loneliness. It is sad to see that some of the people that gave a hand have returned with insults and betrayals. But in all of this neglect and hate, Sir Michael Jackson refused to surrender to the devil and denial. He prayed and worked hard enough to keep peace and unity across the world. He worked hard enough to keep the well of forgiveness. He forgave the master criminal, Sir Joe Jackson. He forgave the other haters, like Sir Jermaine, Sir Jackie, Sir Tito, Sir Randy, and Sir Monk. He forgave the hypocrite, Miss Catherine. He forgave Miss Ruby. He forgave Miss Latoya and Miss Janet. He forgave Usher and Beyonce and all and abusers. Sir Michael Jackson gave his life unto life, and that is how he lived. Through the seizures of trauma and the aches of abuse, through the suffering of isolation and the tears of fear, but he tied a very great spiritual bond with light, and he became the face of God. The criminals felt jealous of his virtuous achievement and his sacred lifestyle. They felt jealous of his work and his talent. Most of all, they were angry at the fact that they could not break his faith in God. And that is how they killed him. After killing him, they claimed that It was Dr. Conrad Murray. No, it was not. It was not Dr. Conrad Murray. I am not saying that Dr. Conrad is the most innocent human being, but what I am saying is the fact that from our opinion, Sir Conrad is way, 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 by far miles, way more innocent than the criminals, Sir John Jackson and his children and his wife. Now, to me, this is clear that there are two main reasons why Sir Michael Jackson is still mistranslated, why people are still just chilling and play debating over an actual human being's painful existence. Reason number one, it is because the world is full of havens. Most people are havens that claim to be religious. Most people are hypocrites. So when they saw the true light, the true purity in Sir Michael Jackson, they hated him, for they hate the one above him. Reason number two, I will state this clearly. Please do not misunderstand me. Please. The other main reason why Sir Michael Jackson was enslaved and isolated, it is because of his physical fragile nature. It was because of his natural or biological condition and the diseases that he had contracted. To put it in the words that most people use or prefer, it was because of his physical disabilities and sicknesses, and not because of his race, or fame, or any other of these excuses that have been circulated. However, these two reasons are both evil, evil motivations, and should not be practiced. Discrimination of any kind is stupid and evil. It is hate crime. People did not start hating him because of the fame. Instead, the fame started that ridicule because people hate him. I have seen this injustice. It has been going on for years and centuries. Discrimination against people with odd nature or disabilities and severe sicknesses has been going on openly, with people pretending to solve it instead of actually trying to solve it. I have seen this injustice even from law officials themselves. It takes place amongst people with the same race. It takes place from Oprah, and nobody does anything about it, because the only inequality that is highly spoken of every day is racism. People have turned the word discrimination to only mean racism. Racism, 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 even where it is not racism. Please, people, I am not saying we should not fight against racism. But what I am saying is that let us fight against every form of discrimination as much as we fight against racism. If we can all try to do that, then the kingdom of heaven shall bless us once again. I know that this is not what Sir Abraham Lincoln meant by a liberty for all. So, to the rest of the world, please stop the evilness. To the celebrities, please stop crafting and publishing this evilness of yours, okay? I don't want it. And to the three candles of light, Prince, Paris, and Blanket, I need you to know that you are the children of the diamond of the sacred. Thank you for everything. You are the children of Gospel the Great. I am truly sorry for the disrespect that is going on around the world, for the disrespect that is going on towards the heaven. Sir Michael Jackson is not an object, but a human being. He is not the king of pop, but a king of gospel, a peace patriot, a true missionary. May the heavens keep along with us. Thank you, everybody. So, for this session, we will continue next time. Our movement is called the Acute of Adequacy, meaning the intention to be just, fair, and equal, to be peaceful. Please support us. Please join us. Please help us out. We are calling for justice. We need help from all the large peace-holding organizations. Please help us out. Let us say no to all inequality. Let us stand against all kinds of slavery. Let us refuse to all the evil acts of any kind of discrimination, not through violence, not through bribes, not through excuses or more crimes, neither hate nor lies, but the use of this crying lifetime. Please remember, we are calling for peace. We need the act that brings about a liberty for all. We are walking the path of the world's rebirth, right here on the holistic principle. Thank you.